you are in the Forbes world's richest person. How do you feel?
I think a lot of that is an exaggeration.
Sir, talking about your journey, you belong to a middle class family and you grew as one of the world's richest person in Forbes. So how did that transition happen? And
You don't think about your personal wealth, you just do your work.
and talking about as an investor, you have invested in a lot of companies out there. So you don't ever think about exits. You actually think about long-term gain.
I think that we should support entrepreneurs who are trying to build large businesses, large organizations, and help them grow.
Sir, do you watch Shark Tank?
I have seen it, but I don't often watch it, yes.
Sir, actually, I actually saw an episode of Namita Thapar. She actually mentioned in Shark Tank that you are very picky when it comes to investments.
Well, we see about 1,000 companies every quarter. We invest in 3 or 4.
And how did you scale Naukri.com?
So we were fortunate enough to be able to raise about 7.3 crores from ICICI Venture in April 2000.
Okay.
When we did that, we hired salespeople, we opened branch offices, we built new products, got invested in technology and service, and we expanded the sales effort, and that's how we grew the company.
Sir, talking about, you also got Padma Shri. How was your feeling about that?
Well, I was not expecting it, and obviously I got the Padma Shri not from my work alone, it's the work of everybody in the company. So I'm grateful to others in the company.
Hi guys, this is Shreyansh Goyal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So we have a very special guest with us who is none other than Sanjeev Bikhchandani sir, who is the founder and chairman of InfoEdge. So hi sir, how are you?
How are you?
I am doing good sir. So I would like to know a little bit about your school days. How were you in school?
I went to school in Delhi, all 12 years, class 1 to 12 in the same school, St. Columbus in Delhi. I was a decent student, but I was not a topper. But I always did well enough to get to my next goal. So whether it was in class 10, getting the subject I wanted, whether it was in class 12, getting the admission I wanted, whether it was clearing the entrance exam I needed to clear. Never the topper, but always good enough.
Okay. So talking about, sir, you joined St. Stephen's College back then. And you had an option for IIT Delhi as well.
For IIT, not IIT Delhi, IIT, yes.
IIT. So why did you choose St. Stephen's?
So, I got into IIT, and when I went for a medical test, I discovered I was partially colorblind. So I was told that, look, I could join, there's no problem, but it will go down my permanent medical record, and some careers and some departments might be close to me. But otherwise, it will be mostly okay. When that happened, I began to think that, do I really want to go to IIT? And I came to the conclusion that maybe I should not go to IIT, and that's why I left it.
Okay. So which year was that?
1980.
Okay. And how was your experience in St. Stephen's College?
Stephen's is a very nice place. I made some good friends. It was obviously a different subject. I had never studied economics earlier. So I was learning new stuff. It was also, I guess, a much lighter workload than an engineering college, because it was an arts college, it was an arts program. So it was a good experience overall.
Okay. So talking about after you graduated from St. Stephen's College, you had experience with Lintas as well.
That is correct. So it was not, in those days, not easy to get a job straight out of Delhi University after having studied done a BA. It was not a professional course. But I got fortunate that Lintas came to college and there was a selection process. I cleared it and I was made an offer. And I got a job, and that worked out well for me.
Okay. So how was the experience back then?
I think working in Lintas in client servicing as a trainee to start with, then as a junior executive, it was an eye-opener. It was a great learning experience. Whether it was learning to work with people, whether it was trying to get more organized, getting operationally sound, working hard, delivering deadlines and goals. All of this was new for me and was good for my self-development.
Okay. What was the salary that you were drawing?
I joined at a princely salary of 1,500 rupees a month.
Okay. And that was like one of the highest salaries back then.
I would not say that, but it was adequate.
Okay. So I remember an incident, like when you were in third year, you also had calls from IIM Calcutta.
I did get an offer from IIM Calcutta straight after college, but I prefer to work for a few years and then do my MBA. I I'd been advised by people who were senior to me that it's better to do an MBA after working for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And I followed that advice.
Okay. So you chose not to join IIM Calcutta back then, and then after that you chose IIM Ahmedabad.
Well, after that, I wrote the exam again after 3 years, and I chose from the admissions I got, and I was fortunate enough to get IIM Ahmedabad, so I chose that.
And sir, talking about the experience that you had in Lintas, it was about 3 years, right?
That is correct.
So how was that experience? Like, what were the things that you learned in that journey?
I think I learned about clarity of thinking. I learned about marketing, communication. I learned about trying to get work done from and through people who were older than me, who didn't report to me.
Okay.
That was a useful experience. Being personally better organized, operationally sound, trying to juggle 10, 12 balls in the air at the same time. These are some of the things I learned.
Okay. So when you joined IIM Ahmedabad, like after 3 years, you gave the CAT exam. What was the score back then?
So we don't know because they would not reveal the scores.
Oh.
But I did well enough to get the interview calls and then cleared the interview. So that must have been all right.
Okay. Sir, talking about IIM Ahmedabad, how was your experience out there?
So IIM Ahmedabad was an academically intense experience. Workload were high, deadlines were tough. You ended up working at all odd hours till late at night. You had deadlines to meet. You had projects to submit. Individual work, group work, preparation for class, case studies. So it was a 24/7 intense academic experience.
And which year was that?
I graduated in 1989.
Okay. And then you had offer from HMM.
I joined a company called HMM, which is now called GlaxoSmithKline after various mergers and takeovers. It was a company that made Horlicks, and I got a job in the marketing department handling the brand Horlicks.
Okay. So how was your experience?
I think it was a very good learning experience. I learned stuff from, I had done the stuff in an ad agency, and I learned stuff from the client side. Got a more holistic view of how brands are managed. Packaging, product, pricing, distribution, promotion, everything. That is useful.
Okay. Sir, I remember that you also had teaching experience. You taught at IMS and many other part-time journalism that you did.
That was after I quit my job and became an entrepreneur. So between 1990 and 98, I did all these things.
Sir, why did you choose to do all these things?
Just to see, I was trying my hand at entrepreneurship, and the company wasn't doing well enough to pay me a salary. So I was doing this on the weekends to earn some pocket money.
Okay. And you had like interest in these things that you were doing, like teaching?
To begin with, no. Because I had started off teaching largely to supplement my income. But once I began to teach, I began to like it, and then I got interested in it.
Okay. So, sir, I have also heard that if you had to choose any other profession, you would have gone for teaching.
Yes, eventually I began to like teaching a lot, and I figured that if my business did not work, the company did not work, I could become a teacher.
Okay. How did Naukri happen?
Well, between 1990 and when I quit my job in 97, when you launched Naukri, I had done 20 small things. So it was one more small idea. We just began to get newspapers. We got in 29 newspapers from around the country and magazines, which carried appointment ads. And we used to take the appointment ads from the papers and put them on the internet. Okay, and that began to get traffic. When that began to get traffic, we began to charge for the listing of jobs on Naukri, and companies began to pay us. So it started off small as a small experiment, but it ended up becoming a big company.
Okay. So talking about Naukri, it started as a gig, right? That we have to try something, and if it works out. So how did you know that there's a PMF out there?
So we didn't know fancy terms like PMF. What we did know was that in the first year, revenue was 2.5 lakhs. In the second year, 18 lakhs. It grew 7x. So the moment it grew 7x, we knew we were onto something.
Okay. And like there were people who were saying that this won't work, but then also you went with this idea and you were sure that this would actually break the industry.
Well, I wasn't sure, but I was hopeful. So yes, there were enough people who were doubting, enough people who said this is rubbish. But I said, we've got nothing to lose, may as well try it.
Okay. How did Naukri grow from 2.5 lakhs to 18 lakhs and then 18 lakhs to 36 lakhs?
Well, we spent enough money, invested enough effort behind promoting it through direct mail to prospective clients. So we would send out letters every month.
Okay. And what are the marketing strategies that you have used back then?
We did, generate some PR to getting some media coverage by writing and sending out our own press releases. We did some barters with print magazines and other publications that we will publish the jobs in your magazine. On Naukri, you give us some ad space free of cost, and that's how we went ahead.
And how much did Naukri earn initially?
The first year we did a revenue of about 2.35 lakhs. We must have lost money. I do not recall. Second year we did 18 lakhs and we broke even.
Okay. And talking about in 1996, like email came, right? And then you launched Naukri.
In 96, internet came.
Right.
And we launched Naukri in 97.
Right. So talking about this period, this internet boom, how did you manage to do that?
Well, there wasn't really a boom as such because there weren't enough internet users. When we launched Naukri in April 97, there were about 14,000 internet accounts in the country.
Okay.
14,000. So it's not as if there was a boom. But we just kept our costs low and kept growing with the market.
Okay. And how did you scale Naukri.com?
So we were fortunate enough to be able to raise about 7.3 crores from ICICI Venture in April 2000.
Okay.
When we did that, we hired salespeople, we opened branch offices, we built new products, got invested in technology and service, and we expanded the sales effort, and that's how we grew the company.
Okay. Who was the client that actually grew from 2.35 lakhs to 18 lakhs?
Oh, it is not one client. It was hundreds of clients.
Okay.
So we have never been dependent on any one single client.
Okay. And like first few clients that you want to name?
I do not recall, but there were very many clients, a few hundred clients.
And how did you raise capital for Naukri.com?
So we went out, and a friend of mine introduced me to 4 investors. I reached out to those investors, wrote to them, fixed meetings, and went on my own and met them, and then we got an offer.
Okay. And why did you find that we need to raise a capital now?
We got competition, which was funded, which was JobsAhead, and when funded competition came, we felt we need to compete. In order to compete, we need to raise money.
Okay, got it. And talking about that, it started with 2.35 lakhs to 18 lakhs, and then 35 lakhs, then 50 lakhs. And
no, from 35 lakhs, we went to about, I think, 1.2 crores.
Okay, got it. So you had this ambition of drawing a salary, like back then, that at least
that was my goal, that if I can get a salary, nothing like it.
Right. So since you are also from a middle class family, so like we think about drawing a salary. So how was your thinking? Like you did not think that we have to grow this business so big?
Well, the business is growing, right? It was also getting to profit, and I was hopeful and confident that I can get a reasonable salary, and which I did.
Okay, got it. And talking about, there was one more company in the market, right?
JobsAhead, yes.
Right. How did that affect you?
Well, that spurred us to do better. I think JobsAhead was a pretty good, tough competition, and a good product, good communication. They were doing well.
Okay. And it actually motivated you to do better.
That is correct.
And talking about, since you mentioned right now that you actually got from ICICI Ventures, there were a lot of companies that were paying more than ICICI Ventures.
Not really. There was one company that gave us a slightly higher offer, but I felt more comfortable with ICICI Ventures, with the people across the table, so I went with them.
Okay, got it. So, like since you are Sindhi, right? So you raised 7.3 crores.
Gee.
And then you had an office space of 1.8 crores. Would you like to tell a little bit about that?
No. So it's like this. We rented an office, which is quite cheap. We spent 1.8 crores in the interiors.
Okay.
To do up the place, and because we wanted employees to be comfortable once they reached the office.
Got it. So basically, for all the employees that feel secure and comfortable out there.
Yeah, they should feel they're working in a good company once they reach the office.
Right. Got it. And sir, do you watch Shark Tank?
I have seen it, but I don't often watch it. Yes.
Okay. Sir, sharks generally ask about the exits. So, did people ask you about the exits out there?
Well, they kind of asked me, what's your long-term plan? And I said, we want to go public. We didn't specifically discuss an exit.
Okay. And talking about this exit thing, what is the good reply that founders can give for an exit?
Well, they can tell the truth, which is that, where they think the company will go and what are the possible exit options at that stage.
Okay, got it. Sir, actually, I actually saw an episode of Namita Thapar. She actually mentioned in Shark Tank that you are very picky when it comes to investments. So,
Well, we see about 1,000 companies every quarter. We invest in 3 or 4.
okay. And what are the things that you actually see before
We
investing?
like to see whether there is some natural traction. I mean, what is the startup trying to do, and do customers want what the startup is doing? Customer demand आ रहा है, repeat purchase हो रही है कि नहीं? At what price? Are they making a profit at that price? And is there likely to be growth? Then we look at quality of team.
So, do you take a bet on founders or the company?
Both.
Okay.
Both have to do it.
And you think, what is the major category that founders should have? Is it discipline or hard work?
I think they need many things. It's not just discipline or hard work. It is, obviously both are important. It's also about a good idea of the consumer, some customer insight, some idea about the unsolved problem, an ability to attract talent and build the team. You would obviously kick the tires around integrity and all of that.
Got it. Sir, there are a lot of founders who mentioned you as a great mentor. So, how are what are the things that you do to become that?
I don't do very much. I don't try to be a mentor. I just have conversations with founders as and when they want, and I have time.
Okay.
And we, just exchange ideas.
Okay. Nowadays, a lot of companies want to go public. So, what's your view on that?
I think it's good, but you should only go public when the time is right for your company to go public. Don't go public too soon.
Okay. How did Jeevansathi began in 1998?
We had done jobs, and we were wondering if we should do one more thing, and then we said, why not try matrimony? Because that is also, jobs was big in newspapers, so was matrimony. We had done jobs. We said, let's do matrimony as well, and that's how we began it.
Okay. So talking about Jeevansathi, it was ranked 3, right?
It is still ranked 3.
So what are the competitors out there?
Bharat Matrimony and Shadi.
Okay. So what do you think? Where is the gap in becoming number 1?
Look, it's a network effect business, right? And Jeevansathi is number 3. And we are trying to get the network effect to work for us in certain communities. And let's see.
Okay, sir. Talking about how to choose a co-founder, what are the things that we should actually analyze before choosing a co-founder?
Co-founders, I'm not sure are chosen. It's not a rational search. You usually do business with a friend, with a former colleague, with your brother, cousin, family member. It's people you already know. People whom you worked with or know well, where the chemistry is right, where you share a common idea or vision and you want to work together.
Okay, got it. So talking about, there are a lot of podcasts that I have seen, and you have regarded your brother as an inspiration. You have told his journey a lot of times. So you regard him as a mentor?
So he's a professor in the US, and we went to the same school, although he was 7 years older. So, and the teachers will always tell me that, he's so brilliant, you're so ordinary. So he was always better than me in studies.
Okay. So I think that actually helped you to grow so much and helped, he actually did a lot of things from IIT, IIM and...
No, he helped us a lot in the beginning when he got us our servers in the US, and he paid for the servers, and that helped us a lot.
Got it. So you have also invested in a lot of companies out there, and it would be 100 plus companies, and major are Zomato and Policybazaar.
That is correct.
So how did you get involved in investing?
So we went public in 2006. We had this money sloshing in the bank account, and we had more money coming in every month. And the board said we need to put some of this money to work. So we got an idea, why don't we invest in startups? and we did, and it worked.
Mm-hmm. So yesterday I was talking to Anup Jain. So he's a founding partner at Blue Green Ventures.
Okay.
So he told that we should not double down investments in a company out there, because like it should not be a rational thing. So what is your view on that? Because Zomato, you actually did 4 solo rounds, right?
Correct. No, I think it depends on your conviction. It depends on your strategy. It is something which investors often do, which is bet more and more money on the ones that are doing well. So people do double down, and we have doubled down in the past.
Okay. So talking about Zomato, when senior exits happened, like did you panic?
No, not at all, because we spoke to Deepinder, and Deepinder told us everything is under control.
Okay.
And it's fine.
And like you were skeptical about e-commerce, quick commerce, but when like Zomato launched that, so what were your views?
Well,
on
we
that?
were concerned, and the concern largely was, around the fact that the main business was loss making, and they were acquiring a new further business that was also making losses. So we said there'd be two businesses making losses. Why don't you make profit in one and then diversify? But Zomato, Deepinder felt otherwise, and we discussed it. Finally, he said, "Okay, go ahead."
And what are the key strategies that you suggested to him?
No, I didn't suggest any strategy, and the strategy was decided by Deepinder largely.
Okay, got it. And like I actually heard a thing that Deepinder told in a podcast. Like he told in 2020, Deepinder called you and he asked for $5 million,
Uh,
or we would shut down.
no, I don't think that's exactly what happened. I think COVID had hit,
Okay.
and we discussed what to do. And I don't exactly recall what the conversation was, but I think the path chosen was to take the existing business and turn it around rather than try and raise more money.
Got it. Understood. And like beginning of COVID, also Naukri was suffering for losses. Like it
Naukri
was
was
minus 43%.
Naukri was not loss making, did not go into losses, but yes, there was degrowth in revenue.
Got it. So how did you make sure to fix that?
We actually, we just continued to do what we were doing,
Right.
and the market environment improved. Lockdown was lifted, and companies began to hire again, and our revenue came back.
Okay. Talking about, sir, you are in the Forbes world richest person. How do you feel?
I think a lot of that is an exaggeration because, share prices go up, they go down. You're not interested in trading in your own company stock. You're interested in running the business and growing it. And that's what we do as an entrepreneur.
Okay. And talking about, sir, like InfoEdge has a lot of companies other than Jeevansathi, and so basically talking about Shiksha.com. So can you tell me a little bit about that? How did that happen?
I think Shiksha was another idea where we said that the newspapers had get a lot of revenue from advertising from education organizations. So we should produce an offering on the internet which targets that segment, and we should try and get some revenue from education.
Okay. And this was back when?
This would have been around 2006-07.
Okay. And talking about 99 acres as well, like how did that happen?
Again, same logic, same strategy. That it's big in print, so let's do it.
And this was in which year?
2005.
Okay. So you started with first Naukri.com, then Jeevansathi, and then like this 99 acres, and then Shiksha.com.
That is correct.
Okay. And what do you feel like? What are the things that actually helped for you?
I think it's the quality of team, quality of people. All these businesses are people businesses. So if you're able to build a good team and retain it, you do all right.
Okay. So, sir, talking about, you also got Padma Shri. How was your feeling about that?
Well, I was not expecting it, and obviously, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and the truth is that I got the Padma Shri not for my work alone. It's a work of everybody in the company. So I'm grateful to others in the company.
We are so proud of you that you got that. And talking about like a lot of other things, talking about the budget 2025, how do you feel that it actually helps a lot of startups going forward?
I think the government did a very big thing a few years ago. It allocated 10,000 crores to a fund of funds for startups, which would mean that managed by SIDBI, which would mean that SIDBI would invest in other venture funds. And those venture funds will then go out and raise money for other investors and then invest in startups. So it seeded, in a way, the domestic venture capital industry.
Okay.
And that's a good thing.
Got it.
The government is now, in 2025, has again allocated a further 10,000 crores.
Right.
This will be very, very good for startups as more and more venture funds get seeded.
Sir, talking about your journey, you belong to a middle class family and you grew as one of the world's richest person in Forbes. So how did that transition happen? And like,
See, you don't think about your personal wealth; you just do your work,
right.
and and that's it.
And talking about as an investor, you have invested in a lot of companies out there. So you don't ever think about exits. You actually think about long-term gain.
I think that we should support entrepreneurs who are trying to build large businesses, large organizations, and help them grow. And if it takes 10 years, fine, 20 years, it doesn't matter. Length of time doesn't matter.
Okay. And if we want to suggest some entrepreneurs that are starting, what would your suggestion be?
I would say focus on the customer's money, because the customer's money is more important than the investor's money. So try and solve an unsolved problem for the customer and try and make sales happen.
Okay. So I think this is all that we had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It was great having you.
Thank you so much.
If you guys have watched this video till here, please go and subscribe to my channel and do watch the whole video. And thank you guys.